Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Flurry Sports YouTube channel and all of our streaming platforms that we are on. And welcome to the Week 4 Thursday night fantasy football start sit show. We're here to try and answer your start sit questions. We'll discuss some players that we're looking at this week, all the good stuff. We're back with you. Well, we think we're back with you. We're not quite sure. Mister, you can't see me over there. He's frozen for me. I don't know if he's frozen for you, but we're going to give this a shot here for a few minutes and see if we can't
I
get it
just on
around.
YouTube, it seems fine. Like there's
Oh,
no
on
problem.
YouTube, it's fine. Who the hell knows? I don't even know what's going on. I don't know where I am right now. I'm not in a truck for once. It's crazy. Zach McAdoo joining me. I'm Henry John. Zach, how are you doing tonight? It's week 4, baby. We got Cowboys Giants on tap. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. It's been a wild start to this NFL and fantasy season.
Yeah, I think both of us made that a very poignant piece in our articles this week. That it's been wild with Juwan Jennings going off last week, while I went and picked up Rashid Shaheed, and he just took a shit and left it on the field. I guess. I mean, this is all you can explain it as. So, I mean, it's just this fantasy season has just been a kick in the nuts one way or another.
It has been something, that is for sure. And I'm sure it will continue to be something in week 4. So if you guys have injuries you're dealing with, if you just are on the fence about who to throw into your flex spot, in your wide receiver, running back 2, whatever you got, and looking to stream somebody, drop those questions in the chat wherever you may be watching, and we will do our best to answer them here. Starting a little late tonight, and I apologize for that. That is on me. When duty calls, you got to answer. But we'll get you up until the kickoff of Thursday Night Football tonight. And we'll look to go over the start sit articles over on flurrysports.org as well. Please check out the website. Tons of fantasy football content over there as well. All right, McAdoo, we've already got a question popping up in the chat here. So let's just jump right into it. We'll answer your questions all show long if we have enough of them. So Khalil Shakir for the Buffalo Bills in week 4 or George Pickens with the Steelers. This is for a flex spot. So we're only going to be starting one. The wide receivers on this team are already filled.
Shakir
I'm going to say right off the top, I like your receivers if this is for the flex. So kudos to you there. The Bills are playing
the Ravens. I don't know who the Steelers are playing off the top of my head.
Yeah, the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And then George Pickens and the Steelers are going to be taking on the Indianapolis Colts Sunday afternoon. Do you have a lean here to get us started, Zach?
I don't know if it's full bias shown, but give me Shakir. I love what the Bills offense is doing, and they'll keep on rolling.
All right. Let me take a look here at some stuff. The Colts defense has not been good. They looked good last week against the Bears. But then again, that's the Chicago Bears offense we're talking about. I'm going to have to go George Pickens here, I think, in that matchup. I know the Steelers' offense isn't necessarily explosive by any means, but Justin Fields looked quite all right last week. Potentially accepting the coaching there that the Steelers are giving him and maybe taking some steps forward there. And, the Bills have so many weapons. I love Khalil Shakir. I love what he's doing. Love him as a player. I just have a hard time trusting that he's going to get the kind of wide receiver 2-ish volume that you're hoping to get out of this flex spot. As he says he has Olave and Jefferson as his starting wide receivers. So, you want to get something solid out of the flex here too. So I'm going to go disagree with you and go Pickens. Do you want to rebuttal me big time, or can you see my stance?
I just am not. I'm not in love with Justin Fields. Like it's been a tough time for Fields. Like he's been running the ball more than passing the ball. I feel like, and I feel like you're gonna get more of the same until something changes.
That's fair. Do you think that Khalil Shakir is a consistent, double-digit PPR scorer? Like you're tuned into the Bills. The whole motto there is spreading the ball around this year. No more Stephon Diggs, which, by the way, I'm buying into that. I think that might be just exactly what they needed. But a lot of mouths to feed there, and the Bills have been open about, trying to feed all of them. Keon Coleman, we got to think, is going to get more involved as well. You got 2 capable tight ends. So does Shakir stay consistent, I guess, like we've seen him here these first 3 weeks? Or is it kind of a week-to-week thing? And, the Ravens, some people might look at that as a tougher matchup as well.
I feel like he's the most capable of being consistent more than anyone else that's going to be probably catching a ball, but maybe besides James Cook. I think Cook's the only one that he's going to get the touches, being the starting running back in Buffalo. Other than that, I think it's Khalil Shakir probably up there because Keon Coleman, he rookie, plus he was disciplined in the first quarter last week. Dalton Kincaid, he's been very inconsistent with Dawson Knox starting, as I pointed out, but I'm strong on him this week.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's just I think Shakir's the guy.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it from McAdoo first. I like Shakir as well. In this, though, I am going to go George Pickens. I just that Colts defense is just not that good. So I'm going to say the Steelers might have their best offensive output of the season to date, an above average Steelers performance this week. How's that on offense? So, yep, we try to help. So we appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you for joining us tonight. Anyone else has questions? Keep them coming. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve you guys. The rest of this stuff we can put on the back burner anytime. So, Zach, why don't we jump into the articles while the people bring us their needs and wants and desires for week 4 as far as who to start and sit. Since we opened up with a wide receiver question, we can jump into your week 4 start 'em, sit 'em at the wide receiver position. For starts this week, you have got Deontay Johnson with the Panthers going up against the Bengals. And he certainly broke out last week, as did really the entire Carolina offense with the quarterback switch from Andy Dalton to Bryce Young. Talk to me about how you're viewing Johnson going into week 4.
You want to reword that? Did you just say from Andy Dalton to Bryce Young? Or did
The
you
other
say
way around.
I don't.
It's been a long week.
I heard you there. I was like, wait, did you say you were from?
The other way around.
Whatever way is the right way. That's what he meant to say. That's what we'll just. But yeah, DJ went off for 26 points, 26.7. I think I had it on there. But I believe I'm a believer in Deontay Johnson. I said on the show that you and Bruner both fucking took me out of context. The Panthers wide receivers are good. You both took me out of context there, and I'm a firm believer that Thielen's out this week. Leggett, we don't know. He's still a mystery, along with a lot of other receivers in the rookie class. But Deontay Johnson's the only, should I say, well-known or guy who's put the work in, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. There, and I believe Dalton's going to try to find him, and Dalton's probably going to have another revenge game. We've seen how bad the Bengals have been the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is the Andy Dalton revenge game, so you definitely have that angle working. I like Deontay Johnson as a player. I don't necessarily think he's going to win you a fantasy league per se, but based on last week, the Adam Thielen injury, which you mentioned, the other receivers kind of in this offense still relatively unknown. I know Xavier Leggett is somebody that was mentioned in our wide receiver streamers article over on the website this week. He's a rising prospect there in that offense. Jonathan Mingo, I don't know if he ever turns into anything. But like you said, Deontay Johnson has proven it. I think he's firmly in the wide receiver 2 conversation here going forward as the alpha in that offense, so long as Andy Dalton's the starter. Brunner in the chat, our fearless leader, mentions he did hurt his groin. He was added to the injury report today. That's Deontay Johnson, so that is something to monitor. Don't know. I personally don't have info on that. I don't have info on much breaking news right now. So if that is something that can hold him out, you'll be looking further down the depth chart. But honestly, overall, this Carolina offense gets a bump with Andy Dalton in there under center for this team. And Zach, since you brought it up, I was going to mention to you, that whole line of the Panthers are good. Are they good? Do we know? Like, now that they have a confident quarterback? I don't know. They looked good last week. It was the Raiders, but is anyone in the NFC South good? I've heard a lot of talk about, maybe this team sneaks into the playoffs. So I wanted to give you your paper flowers there for that for now. How's that?
Yeah, take my out of context quote and make it even more out of context. But um, they got lucky last week against the Raiders. I don't know what happened with Antonio Pierce and the Vegas Raiders. Weird to say that, but
Antonio Pierce happened. That's what
we all
bad coach,
they must have thought he
bad
was,
decision.
but yes.
Let's keep rolling along here in the article. You also, your second start, you have Jaden Reed with the Packers against the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Flores has had the Vikings defense playing very well here to begin the season, but the Packers offense held their own without Jordan Love, and a lot of reports have him coming back this week. Now, whether they necessarily change that because Malik Willis is 2-0 as the starter, I don't know. Give Love some extra time. But all signs point to him being back. So is that the main reason you like Jaden Reed? What more can you offer on that?
Yeah, I mean, we saw what Jordan Love and Jaden Reed did week 1 against the Eagles defense. Granted, the Eagles defense has been subpar besides last week where they surprised a lot of people stopping the Saints offense, excuse me. But I still believe in Jaden Reed and Jordan Love. Well, I will trust Jordan Love a lot more than I would trust Malik Willis right now against this Vikings defense. That I think where'd I had them at? Where are they ranked? I shouldn't say have them at, but what did I put in there? They are
Let me dive into
14
that.
points
10th
per game.
most,
Receiver ones,
yeah,
10th most points. So
to the position.
yeah, so I'm still riding with Jaden Reed, and I think I have him in the Dynasty League in my lineup.
I like it. I like it. A couple of bold sit calls out of you in this article. This is where things get juicy. Garrett Wilson as a sit for the New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. Jets wide receiver 1 there, and you're going to fade him against Denver. And then you're also fading the Dolphins wide receiver 1, Tyreek Hill, as a sit. So you're stepping out on a limb here, Zach, in this article. Why are you fading the likes of Garrett Wilson and Tyreek Hill in week 4?
Okay, I'll start with one man, and this is why Garrett Wilson's not going to do well. Patrick Surtain the third. Second. When did I say third? Probably said three. I'm fucking up just like you now. Jesus. But Patrick Surtain has pretty much put the clamps on every receiver he's played this so far this year. Let's see. Playing Metcalf, Pickens, and Evans have combined for 7 receptions, 75 yards. I don't know about you. That's pretty good through 3 games for those 3 guys. So I just do not trust Garrett Wilson this week with him probably going to have to play Patrick Surtain most of the game. And then Tyreek Hill, he's either going to have Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. It's just abysmal quarterbacks right now with Tua out, and the Titans have pretty much stopped wide receiver 1 so far this year with, yeah, they've given up 10 points, but that's not, you want more out of a wide receiver 1, not 10 points.
So the only rebuttal I'll throw at you on Tyreek Hill, if Tyler Huntley is ready, if they deem that he's grasped the playbook enough since they brought him in there a week and a half or whatever it was ago, does that change your outlook on Tyreek?
Well, Bruno's saying he's going to have Tyler Huntley.
I kind of think he is.
I don't know.
They can't win with those other two, and they don't want to lose this much ground, I don't think, with the Bills and Jets winning. So that would be what I would do. But does that change your outlook is the question.
I'm going to say no. I don't trust Tyler Huntley. Yeah, he did okay, and the Ravens somehow got to a fucking Pro Bowl. But I just don't believe. I'm not a Tyler Huntley believer. Maybe Bruner is, considering he's a Packers fan, and I'm pretty sure it's where he started his career.
Let's see here. I'm just looking at the Fantasy Pros ECR. I want to get your take on a couple of these like we normally do. Garrett Wilson, they have ranked as the wide receiver 14, so they do have him lowered a bit potentially compared to where he would normally be ranked in the matchup that he's going to be dealing with Surtain. Garrett Wilson kind of been middling here to start the year, but I do expect an uptick there as he gets more familiar with Aaron Rodgers. Would you start Garrett Wilson or Chris Godwin if you had the preference? Godwin going against the Eagles. Had the choice, I should say.
Godwin or Wilson? Godwin.
You'd rather have Wilson than Godwin?
No, Godwin. Then I'd rather have Chris Godwin than Tyreek
Okay.
or Garrett Wilson. Holy, I'm
All
messing.
right, all right. What about Devontae Adams against the Browns?
I mean, Devontae, the Browns' defense has been atrocious so far this year.
All right. Would you rather start Garrett Wilson or Drake London against the Saints?
Give me Garrett Wilson.
Okay. Drake London is a wide receiver 20, so kind of falling into that bottom echelon of the wide receiver twos, I think, for you is where Garrett Wilson is. I agree he could fall short of where he's ranked in this matchup for sure. Would you rather start Tyreek Hill or George Pickens?
Who is Pickens playing again?
The Colts.
Give me Pickens.
Okay. Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs? Houston at home against the Jaguars.
Probably Diggs. That we saw how bad the Jags defense was on Monday night, and a shorter week probably not going to help them.
Okay. So what I'm gathering is you are very down on the Dolphins offense right now. Diggs and Pickens, the wide receivers 23 and 24 in the ECR. So that puts Hill like right on that fringe wide receiver 2 territory as well. So interesting stuff there. We will see if you are right. I know me saying that I was going to try and fade Kyron Williams last week on this very show, and an article kind of blew up in my face. So we'll see if your bold takes stick or what comes of them.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought this guy's name was Hawk Tua, and I was just about to say fuck no.
Hawk Talk on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. QB question here, Zach. Andy Dalton or Daniel Jones this week? Andy Dalton and the Panthers, of course, at the Bengals, and Danny Dimes. Consideration tonight as the Giants host the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. Danny Dimes has quietly been playing okay the last couple of weeks. Granted, it was the Commanders and the Browns, but is there life here? Is Malik Neighbors going to save this guy's career?
Yeah, Vanilla Vic has done pretty well the last 2 weeks. Week 1, he was atrocious, and a lot of people memed him for it. Now Vanilla Vic is playing the Cowboys, which didn't look too good against Lamar Jackson last week and his running prowess. This is tough. I'm going to stick with the Andy Dalton revenge game. Give me Andy Dalton.
I am right there with you. Give me Andy Dalton against his old team, the Bengals. Daniel Jones and the Giants, I've liked what I've been seeing, but as we have seen to a T here through the first 3 weeks, the NFL is a week-to-week league. The Cowboys are on back-to-back losses. They have owned the Giants ever since Dak Prescott has started playing quarterback down there in Big D. I think the Cowboys are in a good spot to bounce back, even on the road this week. It may not be easy. It's a short week, got to travel, all that nonsense. But I think cream rises to the top there in the Meadowlands tonight. So I'm going to go with Andy Dalton on a full week's rest for Carolina against the Bengals. Got to go with the revenge game angle. So we are in agreement there. Keep those questions coming, guys. We love to see them. We love answering them. We love breaking them down. Zach, in the meantime, we can visit the running back position here in the article over on FLURRYSports.org, written by yours truly. The starts, I was right in step with you, actually, with the Panthers, and we just had Andy Dalton question as well. So nice little transition once again. Chuba Hubbard, I threw in there, starting him this week for Carolina against the Bengals. Andy Dalton, like we said, rejuvenated the entire offense. I like Hubbard in this matchup. The Bengals allowing the 7th most rushing yards per game coming in, and I think he's a solid RB2 in week 4. Do you like that?
Chuba, yeah, I think, like you said, the whole Panthers offense has been rejuvenated, and with Thielen out this week, they're going to need to program some plays in there. Not program. Why do I always say the wrong word? Design some plays for other people, and Chuba is definitely going to get an uptick in carries and in ball control, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm tired. I don't know.
Well, you better wake up here because we're getting some action in the chat and we're going to jump into it. Hawk Talk, you're welcome. Hopefully, your faith in us is rewarded with a dub this week. Jared Fortin joining us from Facebook. Devon Achane or James Cook in the rest of season, and it's a PPR league. This is right up your alley, McAdoo. Dolphins, Bills. Who you like?
I'm tempted to Achane just because he's going to get a lot more carries, a lot of more dump offs, probably from Tyler Huntley or whoever's back there for the Dolphins. James, like these two are right there. I think probably going to be one or two spots away from each other at the end of the year. But give me Achane because I think, like you said, Buffalo has more mouths to feed, and Achane might be a guy that the Dolphins have to rely on going forward with Tua out at least until week 8.
Yeah, I think some of it for Achane depends on the health of Raheem Mostert and the rest of those running backs down there. Like they got the whole stable of them, but are those guys healthy? Etc. The Dolphins use their running backs at a very high rate. I am in step with you. I think that definitely gets magnified right now with Tua out. I would probably lean to agree with you on Achane for now. Now, I will say the Dolphins' offensive line sucks, and so the reason that gets masked is that Tagovailoa is able to get the ball out quickly, and I don't know if these other quarterbacks are going to be able to do it. I think Tyler Huntley has a chance to do it. I like the increased rushing ability that he brings to the offense. If they can scheme some stuff around that, some different things, and kind of see where that goes. Don't trust that offensive line, though. Would much rather have the Bills' offensive line. So I can make an argument either way. But for the sake of this show, I will defer to you for the time being. We'll check back in next week. Hawk Talk is back in the chat. We'll keep going here. Week 4 start sit Rachaad White or Chuba Hubbard. This is straight from my article over on the website, FLURRYSports.org. It's Chuba Hubbard all day for me. Rachaad White has been getting the red zone touches. He's been out-snapping Bucky Irving, but the production simply hasn't been there, especially on the ground. I think he maintains his PPR value as a pass catcher, but in terms of the Week 4 matchup, I'm riding with Chuba Hubbard. This might be potentially the last surefire RB2 week where I feel that way going into it for Hubbard if Jonathan Brooks returns and cuts into that workload right away. But of these two this week, it's Hubbard for me. What say you?
Yeah, I'm team stay the hell away from Rachaad White pretty much every week, and it's gonna keep on rolling with this week. Chuba Hubbard should start.
Okay, all right. Sebastian, hello. We got a trade question here, McAdoo. Would you trade Bijan Robinson, Travis Kelce for J.K. Dobbins, Devontae Adams, Evan Ingram, and Keenan Allen? That's a big one. Travis Kelce, obviously off to a slow start. He's been saying he needs to do better. Coach is defending him. J.K. Dobbins has looked really good. Not so great last week against Pittsburgh. Tougher matchup there. The health of Justin Herbert's a concern, as the Chargers don't have a great aerial attack with Herbert in there this year just because of the lack of receiver depth, let alone without. Evan Ingram has been hurt, but I like him if he's healthy. I think Trevor Lawrence needs something to do anything at this point. And then Keenan Allen has also been hurt, but he, I believe, should be back this week, correct? Do you have an initial lean, or what are your thoughts here on the package? This is a big one. 4 for 2.
I'm expecting Ingram to stay out this week. I'm trying to look and see what Keenan Allen is. He's on a limited basis today, so I would expect him back this week. Devontae and Dobbins. I don't like trading for Dobbins because he's pretty much splitting carries with Gus Edwards for the moment. Devontae'd probably be the only uptick guy that you'd see right now, depending on when Ingram and Allen come back. But this is a tough one.
Dobbins has wrestled control of that backfield pretty well. I think of course, the concern with him always is his health. Another thing I would like to know is, you're taking in 4 guys, you're giving up 2. What would you be dropping? Is the other question. And then, can you afford the potential absence of Ingram? Like, do you have a backup tight end plan, etc.? I think I like the pieces you're getting back enough to do it. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I was a big Dobbins guy coming into the year. I don't think the first 2 weeks are a fluke for him. He may not run for 130 yards every game, but I think he's going to be a solid fantasy player. I know you got a couple health question marks there, and then Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. Like that, he's still going to get his. Maybe he gets his in a Jets uniform here in a few weeks. I don't know, but he's too good not to produce. So I lean that way. I would say if you want to do it and you are comfortable that you're improving your bench that much with what you would be dropping, got a contingency plan at tight end still, I'd say go for it. You're not saying anything else. Okay.
I thought moving on to the next one. I personally would not take it. I still believe Travis Kelce should get back to his normal workload. You got to believe something's got to change for that Chiefs offense to get him involved. But maybe not. Maybe they realize that Kelce old news and they're going to try to work new guys in.
Yeah. I'm doing it, but again, what are you dropping? Do you have the contingency plans? Do you know kind of the injury concerns you're getting are the only holdups there, I think, for me. But I like what you're getting back. And I'm not usually one who's just like, oh, yeah, let me take the side with more players. Sometimes that's a pain in the ass because then you do have to drop the guys. But in this case, I would go for it. Stephen Grease, hello. Full PPR, 2 flex spots. Would we work in Rico Dowdle into his lineup, which already includes James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Carson Steele? As a start this week, I am probably leaving that alone. I like Rico Dowdle. I think the value there is rising. Ezekiel Elliott sucks. Dalvin Cook is inactive. I think Dowdle might actually be the guy there in Dallas this season, as crazy as that kind of is to say.
They need some love with Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah. I don't know that Deuce Vaughn's going to be a bell cow. So you're still some uncertainty there for sure. Elliott's still going to get touches. They signed him to give him the ball some, even if he doesn't do anything with it. So that really, I think, comes down to Carson Steele being on the fringe as the fringe guy for me over Rico Dowdle, and I would still stick with Steele this week against the Chargers, even though that looks like a difficult matchup. But, the Chargers defense is already starting to get its annual list of injuries. Joey Bosa's injured. Shocker. So I'm going Steele there. Would you change Dowdle into what he has right now for anyone?
No, I think
okay.
I think Carson Steele, he's getting majority of carries. Yeah, he's splitting them with Samaje with Samaje getting the passing down, but I still believe in the alligator owner of Carson Steele.
All right. Hawk Talk drafted Rachaad White very high, going back to his previous question. It happens. I know you drafted him high, but I'm telling you, go with Chuba this week. maybe try and hope that White does something, and then you can potentially sell him high because that Bucks backfield is ebb and flow. Todd Bowles even came out after the game last week and said Irving's going to be getting more touches. Bowles tends to be pretty reliable when it comes to, uh, you know, saying something and then it coming to fruition. So definitely some concern there. Rashad White is a fringe RB2 at best for me this week, I would say. He has one more question here for us, Zach, and that is J.K. Dobbins or I'm going to say Zamir White. Uh, the Raiders
Yeah, so probably
are.
Rashad White.
Yeah, well, that's true if he has Rashad White. Um, Dobbins or Rashad White. Oddly enough, these are the two sits. So I'm able to tease my running back article over on FLURRYSports.org. You guys can go read more about both J.K. Dobbins and Rashad White. I'm not super high on either one of them this week. If I had to pick one, though, I would still go J.K. Dobbins based
Yeah,
on how the Chargers have kind of been splitting up the touches there. And they're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to have to run the ball inside to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs have just too much speed on defense to be bouncing it all around. So Gus Edwards is struggling mightily. So give me Dobbins in this one still.
this one feels like a suicide pick for you. We're like, what's the better way to kill yourself? Hanging yourself, or I probably shouldn't say this because we're on YouTube. So sorry, Zach. But yeah, I'm gonna go J.K. Dobbins too. We'll move on because that's enough talk of the unaliving.
Yeah, let's move on. Got another one here. Najee Harris or Devin Singletary as the flex. Harris and the Steelers against the Colts in that lovely run defense this week. And then Devin Singletary tonight with the Giants against the Cowboys. Who do you like?
Give me the former Bill. The Cowboys did not stop the run on Sunday against the Ravens, and granted, Singletary's a different type of back, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in on Singletary here as well. Getting the red zone touches. I know Tyrone Tracy got a little bit of work last week, but I like Singletary. I think that is the better matchup. Honestly, in a weird way, almost feel like I trust the Giants to do a little more on offense this week than the Steelers. I don't know. Despite that being a favorable, I can't believe that I was
That's
thinking about saying those
going to
words. I didn't say those words, but man, uh,
I trust the Giants' offense, man.
hey man, I have been a Daniel Jones apologist since the very beginning. He's brought me to the brink of apologizing. I don't necessarily apologize that much anymore, but I still have this little bit of hope that I'm clinging to that maybe something's going to work and maybe Malik Neighbors is the guy to bring it out of him. Let's go to this one because it does involve tonight's game with Devin Singletary once again, and then we'll jump back to I Love Green Salsa. For here, who do we start at flex in a PPR? Garrett Wilson, Devin Singletary, or Brian Robinson? So, Zach, you talked about how you were down on Wilson this week. Would you go with one of these two running backs over him? Of course, Jets Broncos, the Thursday night game tonight for Singletary, and then the Commanders are taking on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm gonna still take Devin Singletary. Like I said earlier, Patrick Surtain, when he's covering these wide receiver ones, he's stopping them. So far he's averaged to allow 2 receptions per game to about 25 yards per game. I think Devin Singletary can absolutely beat 4.5 points, probably even Brian Robinson Jr. too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to turn on you, and I'm going to say Garrett Wilson. I got to go with him of these names here. I love green salsa. Getting back to you, he has Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels. Who does he trade away? You trade away Jaden Daniels before you trade away Josh Allen, but I say that in a vacuum. If you're going to get an absolute haul for Josh Allen, and then you can fall back on Jaden Daniels, and you're a believer in what he's doing there, which he has looked pretty good, then maybe you trade away Josh Allen and beef up other positions on your team. That would be my outlook on that. Rest of season, I want Josh Allen, obviously. if I'm getting a haul that's going to significantly improve my team, then I might look to trade him away.
Yeah, more than likely you took Josh Allen pretty early in your draft, probably rounds 2 or 3 ish, maybe 1, depending on how your league is went out. But yeah, in a vacuum, you're gonna trade away Jane Daniels, but Allen's gonna get you a bigger haul than Jane Daniels, so it just depends on what you want.
Yeah, if you're telling me I'm getting a stud running back and a solid receiver and whatever for Josh Allen, or I'm getting a decent receiver for Jaden Daniels, then I'll trade away Josh Allen. Sure. Got him late in the 6th round.
How?
So that's honestly not too bad at all. Be curious to know how big the league is if you'd want to share that. But yeah, so that's our outlook on that trade question. Andy Miller, hello. Another start sit here. Amari Cooper or T. Higgins this week. The Browns going up against the Raiders. Deshaun Watson is still playing quarterback until otherwise noted. T. Higgins and the Bengals going up against the Panthers in that aforementioned Andy Dalton revenge game. Higgins has a game under his belt now. And so what do you say here?
This is a tough one. I'll go T. Higgins because I believe Monday night was his shouldn't say get right game, but his warm up game because he was out the first 2 weeks. I think he should be back and should be able to help out the Bengals. Maybe eke out their first win on Sunday.
Okay, I'm gonna go the other way here from you again. Amari Cooper's been about the only stable thing in that Browns offense. Somewhat stable, solid game last week. I think he's Deshaun Watson's go-to. If Deshaun Watson has a go-to that isn't massage parlors, I digress. I'm gonna go Cooper though. I have concerns about the Bengals offense, and I think the Panthers, have a little bit of a fire under their ass right now with Dalton in there. So that could translate over to the defensive side of the ball as well this week.
Yeah, they couldn't do it with freaking Bryce Young and out there. They had to wait until quarterback change, but
He sucks, man. That will go down as a Jamarcus Russell-esque pick. Maybe worse because they traded up to get him.
it's what they said about Baker too. But you see how he's doing now.
Yeah, I guess you never know. Bryce Young's just so small. Loved him in Alabama. Like, fun to watch as a college player. But in terms of transition into the pros, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that ship has sailed. Thursday Night Football is about to start. If you guys have any last-minute questions, drop them in there, and we'll get to them before we get off the air. We've been going over here bits and pieces of the Start Sit articles. We kind of covered McAdoo's wide receiver column. We started my running back column. We actually touched on 3 of the players in it, just thanks to your guys' awesome questions. So that's good stuff. If you want to get further dives on those guys and any of the other names we have, FLURRYSports.org is the place to be. McAdoo's also got tight end start sit over there. Dalton Kincaid, the poster boy this week for his Bills against the Ravens. Check that out. Start sit questions too. If you guys need advice up to kickoff on Sunday, Bruner's rankings, the fantasy football rankings, are over on the site, and he updates them right up to the games on Sunday. So if you guys want to check those out with help making your lineup decisions, that is cool as well. You got streamers articles if you need to throw in a quarterback or a tight end or whatever this week. We got some suggestions over there on the site, and these columns go up each week too. So make sure you're plugged into the site as well as the Flurry Sports YouTube channel. There's all sorts of fantasy football stuff going up every day, literally every day throughout the weeks leading up into the NFL and fantasy football weekends. So it is awesome stuff. What a time to be alive. Zach, do you have any other pressing thoughts? Anyone you wanted to mention from the articles that we didn't get to before we get off the air? And if anyone has any last questions, this is last call. And then we'll jump off and watch Thursday Night Football. What do you got?
Very quickly, I'm going to do this. Dalton Cade start. Ravens defense giving up over 33 points the last 2 weeks to the Brock Bowers, Jake Ferguson. Pat Freiermuth start. Colts defense is gave up 25.7 points last week to Cole Kmet with Caleb Williams as his quarterback. Sit Zach Ertz versus the Cardinals. Cardinals have a very good defense against tight ends, and Hunter Henry against the Niners defense is definitely a no-go. Sit Hunter Henry.
Shit, I'm streaming Zach Ertz in a league this week.
Well, it was funny. I was like, I saw who was it? Bruno did the streamers. Someone did the streamers, and I saw Zach Ertz. Like, oh no.
Hey, everyone can look at it differently. That's part of what makes fantasy football so fun. Different opinions, debates, friendly debates. It's all good. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are going to hop off for the evening and watch some football. Best of luck in week 4. Again, check out the site. Subscribe to the YouTube. We really appreciate it. We are here for you guys all season long. So thank you for hanging out, and we will talk to you next time.